Hey guys, what's going on? Inception here, and welcome to another video. Today we're gonna have kind of like a fun concept to make since it's basically the end of FIFA. They have the Footies promo coming out, but the Footies promo will never touch these players, in my honest opinion. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to make the best possible team in FIFA. Now, obviously, this is going to be an opinion even at the events. Sometimes you guys will see like 1, 2, maybe 3 players changed. But for the general part, most of the players are pretty much the same. But I did want to make this team for you guys to show you what I think is the full meta and explaining my reasoning between all the players. So we're going to start off right away with a 4-5-1. The 4-5-1 seems to be the best formation to use in regards to picking players for the predetermined chemistry and whatnot. So right off the bat with the goalkeeper, we're going to start off with Van der Sar, right? So the reason why I'm starting off with Van der Sar is because he's actually a very, very good goalkeeper. I feel like not a lot of people are looking into him that much, but he's actually a very, very solid keeper that gives you chemistry between both of your center backs. Now, the biggest reason why I have Van der Sar on the team is for the chemistry, but I wouldn't have him if he wasn't a good goalkeeper in the team, because he is an actual good goalkeeper. He's been saving a lot of people's lives this year so far, and he's just been really, really good. I don't know what his reactions stat is, and I feel like that would probably show up on Footbin, so I'm going to check that just to make sure. So on Footbin, that's my driver update thing right there. Van der Sar. Sometimes for certain people, they don't actually show the reaction stats. So for Van der Sar, the reactions that he has is 83. So 83 is obviously, it's still pretty good, but it's not like David De Gea level of being in the 90s, because if you see David De Gea, and this is why he'd be the most preferable goalkeeper, I think. David De Gea's reaction time is 90, right? But 83 is still pretty decent. Reaction time is good for manual goalkeeping for the first-time shots, because you guys know that those are really, really effective. So when you know someone's going to transition on the inside, or you know they're going to do a turnaround first-time shot, using manual goalkeeping to balance out that shot is pretty ideal. But 1v1s, you could decide if you want to use that or not. It's whatever, right? So Van der Sar, prime card, is my goalkeeper. I feel like he'd be the best bet if it's not David De Gea. The first center back that we're going to be putting in the team is Big Verge. Virgil van Dijk. I actually searched up Big Verge. That's how much I call him Big Verge. Virgil van Dijk. It doesn't matter which card. It could be the team of the year or the team of the season, team of the year, whichever one these cards are. As you guys know, I didn't really play that much this year, so I don't even know which one's which. But Virgil van Dijk is obviously going to be a fantastic card. So the thing about this card is that people really like his rare gold card. I didn't like his rare gold card, right? Because the acceleration, sprint speed, agility, and balance were still not balanced together with that card. So that's why, for me, it still didn't perform up to par, right? The thing about this card is that when you look at it, right, his agility and balance is still low. His acceleration, sprint speed is very high, though. You don't have to give this card an anchor anymore, because his defending and his physical stats are already god tier. So what I would personally do on this card to make him better on full chemistry is actually give him an engine card, right? And I'll show you guys why I would give him an engine card. So because the thing about the defenders, right, is that not searching out for some reason. Van Dijk. The thing about the center backs, right, is that once you already have good defensive physical, this is kind of like the pay-to-win aspect of making the player as perfect as possible. You could already see that he has passing. He has 99 composure, right? But look at what happens when you give him an engine card. If you give him an engine card, plus 10 in the balance, and plus 5 of the agility, right, as well as the dribbling ball control, which is still very helpful for center backs, and then you give him 86 acceleration, 95 sprint speed. With that huge stock in-game, this guy will be an absolute monster on your team, right? You don't have to increase the physical or defensive stats because they're already very good. What you do want to do with him, however, is being able to catch up to someone with better pace and to be able to transition left and right properly. The transitioning left and right properly is the agility and the balance. Because he is 6'4" with a big stock, you want to improve that as much as possible so that he does move really nicely, right? So that is one of the center backs. The next center back, and you could call this a little bit of a favoritism, but I think that he's an absolute god in this game. Probably one of the best center backs of all time. And yeah, he's from FC Porto, but I love the guy. Eder Militão is a disgusting center back. The only thing that this card misses in game is his stock, right? So his stock, he's a little bit of a skinnier player, not like a Aubameyang skinny, but he's got like a, I would say like an above average stock, but it's not like a Virgil van Dijk stock. Or his physical stature, like how big his body is. That's what I mean when I say stock, right? This card's brilliant though, right? You look at this card, and all you see is just beautiful stats across the board, right? His agility and balance with his acceleration and sprint speed is god tier. His composure is 83, which is good enough for the center back. His passing is fantastic. His shot power is fantastic. His defending and physical stats are fantastic. It's just an all-around good card. For me personally, even with the huge stats on this card, I would give him an anchor, right? And I would make his defending and physical and pace as perfect as possible because he already has the agility and balance. So he will transition left and right properly, right? Giving an extra 3 on that jumping wouldn't be too bad either because you guys know that jumping is kind of like the meta right now. So Eder Militao makes it as my center back. So one of the center mids over here is going to be big boy Ruud Gullit. Ruud, big boy Ruud. Obviously, it's the icon moments. This card is just, I mean, look at this thing. There's literally nothing wrong with this card. That's how god tier he is, right? If you look at this card, honestly, it would be a toss-up of what I would give him. Now, I think right off the bat, I would give him Shadow because I think his agility and balance honestly doesn't matter because everything else is just so god tier. His defending is kind of low if you do use him as one of the CDMs in a 4-2-3-1 because I could copy this team and make it a 4-2-3-1 so I can show you what it looks like in game. But with Ruud Gullit's card, I would most likely give him a Shadow because increasing the pace will help out with the with the lack of agility and balance because obviously that's where your dribbling is really fast. So if you give him a shadow card, right, you're giving him plus 13, plus 10 the sprint speed, and then look at his defensive stats increase. It's insane, right? His physical is already god tier. He is already 6'3" with a huge stock in game with a 5-star weak foot, 4-star skill moves. Nobody touches these. It's these two, right? I'm gonna show you guys who the other one is. And even with Team of the Seasons coming out, even with whatever coming out, nobody ever touches these two cards. So that's Ruud Gullit down. Next card we have is Patrick Vieira. Patrick Vieira is obviously a given as well, just because of the fact that he's just going to be a defensive presence for you, right? This guy, I use him, and the reason I'm making this team because this is a team I used at the EA Studios when they gave us teams that were I was able to use whatever I wanted, right? These guys are so significantly better than everybody else. It is insane. Like, the cool thing about FIFA is this, right? When you play with a team that's mediocre for such a long time, when you get a God Squad, right, and you're pretty decent at the game, it's so game-changing, man. Like, the way that they move and the things that you can do now, crossing it to physical presence players, being able to make certain runs because you know that they'll actually be able to outbody people. Just a bunch of stuff, man. The weak foot, the high shooting, the high passing, right? It's insane, right? Patrick Vieira, I would also still give him a shadow card because his agility and balance is low, obviously. But making him the best defensive presence, I feel like, is the most important, as well as giving him the pace, right? So if you see right here, I would give him a shadow card. I almost thought that I spelled his name wrong. I would give him a shadow card because it's just the pace increase, right? Being able to increase that pace with a medium-high work rate, his 77 agility and his 73 balance is already good enough to be able to move left and right properly. Now, if you feel like you think you don't need the pace and you want him to be able to transition left and right a little bit better, that's when you slap a nice little engine on him, right? Because giving him the increase in balance is important because he's 6'4", so you could see that you're still giving him great pace, great dribbling. His defense is already very good, right? So that's, you could take that into consideration too. And then you give him the passing boost, which is pretty nice to give for a CDM as well. So if you give him an engine, that might be the best course of action as well. But for me personally, I'll give him the shadow because defensively, I want him to be as perfect as possible. And pace-wise, I want to give him the most pace because pace is very important to track back and then push up and so on and so forth, right? So that's Patrick Vieira down. Now, this is like a little bit different. Not different. This isn't different at all. The team that I'm going to be making here, I know that I think pro players, what they do is they put like center backs as right backs because of the physical presence with them. that they have to be able to win the ball in the air, which I think is very important because the meta is very, it's very like crossing, like doing flick up cross oriented, because the attacker always has the momentum over the defender. There's physically nothing you can do when you play the game to be able to avoid those, because they just pounce on the defender more, right? But at right back we have Kenny Lala, right? Obviously this card with an anchor would probably be the most ideal, because anchor, the only difference with the anchor is I think they only give you like a +5 in the strength, but all the other stats are the same. The reason why you want to give him an anchor is because of the jumping, right? So you obviously, being a 5'10 player is a pretty decent height, not too bad, right? If you look at Lala's stats, I need to be able to open this right now. If you look at Lala's stats right here, you could see that with the anchor card, they gave him significant stat increases on the jumping, the strength, the aggression, the defending is basically perfect, and then you give him the extra pace. He already has 80 composure, which is good enough. The agility and balance is good enough in comparison to the acceleration and sprint speed. He can pass the ball, which is also very important. The only problem is that he can't finish, and that is very helpful depending on the play style that you want to play, right? Sometimes people like to do the over committing fullbacks. He's not going to be able to attack for you, but for me, I like the fullbacks on balanced, right? Not the over-committing ones, because I like the balance to be able to create more space on the side so that people go track them, so I can open up more space in the middle, right? So that's why Kenny Lala makes it for me at right back in regards to chemistry and stuff, right? Mbappe is obviously on the right side. I mean, there's really nothing much to say about Mbappe. He's disgusting in this game, right? I think at the studios, I wasn't sure what to put on him. I think what I actually put on him was marksman, because giving Mbappe that physical boost is still super, super helpful, right? So if you look at Mbappe's card, I gave him marksman, so you can see that it gives him the physical stat increases so he can jump. He has more strength, he has more heading accuracy, his dribbling is more responsive, his reaction time is higher, which is pretty significant, and then his finishing is already 99, so if you give him the +5 in the shot power, the long shots, blah blah, the card's going to be absolutely phenomenal for you. His composure is already high enough, his agility and balance is already high enough. This card is absolutely disgusting, so giving him that physical boost I feel like would be the way to go forward if you do end up using that card. At left back, we have Alex Telge. Now, the reason why we have Alex Telge as the left back is obviously for the chemistry with Eder Militao, but obviously we don't want anybody who's a nuisance in the team. We want players who are good. So if you look at Alex Telge's card, he actually does have very good stats. Now, the thing that he's lacking in, obviously, is the strength. You can see that his strength is 76. But he's got finishing. He's got the good enough agility and balance in consideration with his acceleration and sprint speed. Is he the most meta left back in the game? Probably not. What you could actually do is put Alexandro as your left back, because he is the most meta card in the game, especially because of his stock. With Eder Militao on the team, you kind of ruin the chemistry there. To be honest, Eder Militao could totally be on 7 chemistry and still be an absolute boss. So if you got the flashback Alexandro card, I think Eder Militao would still be fine. So you could do this. You could do this, and he would still be good. So you could decide between giving Virgil van Dijk the chemistry, or you could decide between giving Eder Militao the chemistry, because you could obviously put Ronaldo in those positions. I'm sure that was a huge voice crack. I'm sure that there's probably another way that I can give these cards better chemistry, but I just can't think of it right now. Possibly in a 4-3-3, actually. We could check that out later, just to make sure. But at left cam, we have obviously Ronaldo, big boy, R9. This card's obviously fantastic because if you look at his stats, I mean, this guy's an absolute monster. His stock is huge in game. I used him at the studios. This card is disgusting, right? A person who has a 5-star weak foot, 5-star skill moves, has the height, the medium work rates. People don't like the medium work rates on him. Medium, it's funny because you guys know my playstyle. That is so perfect for me. Like, I love medium up top as striker. That's why I love Quagliarella so much, right? But Ronaldo at medium with a big stock, being able to outbody people and just destroy people is just really, really nice. I would also give him a marksman as well, because you want to increase his dribbling as much as possible. Because of his big stock, he could dribble a little bit badly. So I would highly suggest Giving him the physical presence as well, because, you know, physical is everything in this game. So when you give him... I already forgot the card. Is it marksman? Yeah. I just had the biggest brain fart in the world. But yeah, you increase his reactions, you increase his ball control, you increase his agility, you give him the extra shooting stats. He's got more jumping, he's got more strength. He's just going to be an absolute monster for you, right? You could decide on giving him a sniper, because sniper doesn't touch some of the shooting stats. You could give him sniper to increase the balance if you want. If you also want to, you could give him a hawk as well, to increase the physical, the shooting, but hawk is kind of like whatever too. Maestro could increase his passing, his shooting, and his dribbling, but it still doesn't touch the balance. If the balance annoys you that much, then honestly you could give him an engine, right? So you can increase the balance and the agility as much as possible, but then you're kind of wasting it for the shooting stats, in my opinion, right? That's why I think that Marksman's the best one, because of the physical stat increase as well. So an absolute boss in the game as well. The next one is Cristiano Ronaldo. So Cristiano Ronaldo is obviously a god as well. Team of the year, team of the season, whichever one floats your boat, right? The guy's an absolute monster. Now with his card, absolutely, hands down, no questions asked, you gotta put an engine on him. Like, that's just a must, because that balance on this card is still super annoying. He's still the most meta striker possible in the game, and to be honest, strikers this year kind of suck in general because of the meta of the game, right? So that's why Quagliarella is like so awesome for his price, because there's just not that many good strikers that are affordable, right? With Cristiano Ronaldo, you gotta give him the engine, right? You gotta make that balance and agility as high as possible, because you're giving him the extra pace, you're giving him the extra passing, but look at his shooting. His shooting is already perfect, right? And then you give him the 99 composure. The balance increase will definitely help in regards to dribbling. This guy will be an absolute monster for you, no questions asked, right? And then last but not least, we got Neymar in the team. So Neymar is obviously a god. Even his regular card compensated for bad gameplay, right? So Neymar would be an absolute monster too. They actually gave him physical stat increases on these cards as well. So if you check out his card, right, he also has poor balance, but the balance honestly doesn't matter on this card, because he's just 5'9" that just freaking moves like an absolute god, right? So I wouldn't even be worried too much about the balance with this card. I would give him, again, a marksman to increase his physical as much as possible, because physical is everything in this game, right? You give him the finishing increase, you give him a +2 in the reactions, but more importantly, the physical and the finishing stat boost are pretty nice. If you don't really care too much about the reactions and stuff, which is very, very insignificant, you could just give him a finisher card, right? Which gives him a little bit extra in regards to the physical stats. So it could be super beneficial to you. So this is what the team would look like. In regards to pre-chemistry, obviously you need to put the players in the positions and everything. What I actually want to check out before, and you guys probably know the formation right off the bat before I do, which types of formation would actually work. Because then Ronaldo would be over here, Ruud Gullit or Patrick Vieira would be over here for that link up right there. So I'd still be missing that link up. I needed one more link up with Virgil van Dijk, unless I did this, but then Kenny Lala's on low chemistry. You could actually take out Lala and put in Doomfreeze, because Doomfreeze is actually freaking amazing in this game. Because Doomfreeze's card, if you check him out, his agility and balance is still very low, but he has pretty good defending and physical stats. But even with his card, I would probably consider giving him a Guardian, actually. So if we search up Doomfreeze's card, Doomfreeze... I totally spelled it wrong, probably. No, I think I spelled it right. Oh, Doomfry. Oh, it's Doomfries. Dumfries. I don't know. Okay. Yeah, his card over here, because his balance and agility is kind of low, you kind of want to increase that. So if you gave him a Guardian, or Gladiator, is it Gladiator? It's not Gladiator. It's Guardian, I'm pretty sure. Oh, Guardian still doesn't touch the balance. To be honest, though, if you have that much agility and that much pace, I think that it would compensate for the lack of balance, in my honest opinion, because you give him the extra composure and stuff too. So I would actually try out a Guardian on him and see if that works out best for him, because again, like I said, the agility actually might make up for the balance, but it's something that you have to figure out for yourself as well. So in this team specifically, you could do the whole thing where you do this, get those Dutch links in there, get Patrick Vieira down there, Neymar up here, Ronaldo up here. Even at this point, it doesn't really matter, or it does matter actually. You want to do that to get the full chemistry. You could totally do that too, because this would be closer to the full meta than anything. So that's pretty much it in regards to the best possible team, the best full meta team, whatever it is that you like to call it. Obviously, this is down to opinion. You could like Paolo Maldini. You could like freaking Michael Ballack's card over Patrick Vieira because of the 4-star weak foot and whatever, right? But this is, in my opinion, the best possible team that you can make in FIFA. So thank you guys so much for watching the video. I really do appreciate it. I will catch you guys for the next one. Peace out, my dudes. Love you guys.